So Carew, thank you for joining the San Francisco Bay Area Moms to talk today about National Thank You Letter Day, which
Yes.
I understand this year is 2 months long, correct?
Yeah, guaranteed. Yep, up till we've got about a month and then a little bit over that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And by the way,
So,
Tracy, thank you for having me on the show. This
oh
is
my
really
gosh,
great
of
to be here.
course, of
Yeah, I really
course.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So I think I know the answer to this, but why is it a little longer this year?
Well, we wanted to do something different. And I should probably explain to your audience a bit about National Thank You Letter Day.
Please, yes.
So this is something I conceived of about 3 years ago. There's a little bit more of a backstory to it. I'm an author by trade. I have a book out called The Legacy Letters. So The Legacy Letters is a fictional series of letters written by a father that would never live to see his kids, and these letters become their practical, moral, and spiritual guidebook for the rest of their lives. I've been fortunate that it's won a number of national awards, and it's still doing quite well. But the fun part for me is the literacy aspect. So I try to find different ways to get kids excited about reading, about being engaged in education. And so I've come up with these different happenings or events. Real quick, one of them has been the I Love to Read series. It's on Carew Tube. And it's, for example, I'll be on the back of a horse and I'll be reading my book, The Legacy Letters, and I'll be reading it like this, and I'll look up and I say, oh, I love to read and I love to ride, and then I'll woo, and off we go. Or I love to read and I love to ski, or I love to read and I love to play putt-putt. Or we have about, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 videos, and they've got several million views, and kids get excited, and we help teachers talk about what it means. Why is this guy doing this, and what's this all about, and get him talk about geography and literacy and reading books and the whole 9 yards. So I know this is a long story, but bear with me because it bears fruit. So I'm up at our local school and they want me to read. I go up there quite often and read portions of the book or talk about what it means to be a writer. So this day I'm reading one of the first pages in the book, and it says how to say please and thank you. And so I'm reading it, and all of a sudden, I had this idea, which of course comes to me either in the middle of the night or in the middle of the shower or in the middle of the classroom. Wow, wouldn't it be great to try to get kids excited about, well, no, how do you get kids excited about saying please and thank you? You don't, right? Like, really? This is the millionth time you said please or thank you.
Yeah.
So I thought, wow, what about a thank you letter the size of a football field? And I turned to them and said, guys, and they all woke up, a bunch of fourth graders, like, what? What if we made a thank you letter the size of a football field? And they go, yeah. They're all like, sure, that sounds like a great idea. I thought, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Guess what? We did it 3 years ago. We created the world's largest handwritten thank you letter that would go out to parents and go out to teachers and basically saying, thank you for teaching us. Thank you for taking care of us. The size, we had to reduce it. It's the size of a gym. It's the size of a basketball court. Okay. So that really started. And along with that, I thought, wait a second, why don't we create one of these national days? And so we made it for November 14th, and we figured November is the month of giving thanks because of Thanksgiving. Sure. Right after Veterans Day, right before Thanksgiving. So I thought it tucked neatly in there, and it didn't get swamped by Christmas. All right. So, and then the next year, what do we do? Well, what do you do with the giant thank you letter? You have to send it. We created the world's largest envelope, the world's largest stamp. Again, size of a gym, the basketball court, and we sent it. The postmaster came and stamped the stamp, and we put it in to the postal carrier truck, and off it went to our local school. And it was amazing. And so this year, it was like, well, what do? You can't bring out the letter. You can't do anything giant, except I had kids write me and say, hey, are you going to do a giant mailbox? They said, okay, enough with giant. All right, let's right. How do we do something during this unusual pandemic time? And I thought, wait a second. The central idea behind National Thank You Letter Day is to celebrate the act of writing the powerful act of writing a thank you letter to someone that you care about, you love, or protected you. And through the act of kindness, manners, gratitude, and civility. And so I really wanted to push back against all the divisiveness that's going on. So I thought, let's celebrate our heroes, the heroes of 2020. So what we're doing this year, to bring it all this long story, is we're having kids write thank you letters, and we're having them videotape them and either post them to the Facebook page for National Thank You Letter Day, or to post it on their own social media sites. And we've already just started it with some of the kids. And I tell you what, it's that classic internet thing where it's either puppies or it's, babies or something. You're like, oh my God, you're just like, really? That's so moving.
Right.
So I really want to get the word out, and it's harder for people to send letters now. I would love that. I'm being an author, anything that's handheld or written is great, but in this way, we sort of sneak around it. We get the best of both worlds.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's the long and short of it, Tracy.
Yeah, no, I mean, having children to show gratitude, whatever vehicle, it's just so important. And like you said, especially now, and not limiting it to one day. And hopefully it also then creates some good habits of, continuing that. I remember as a child always having to write thank you letters for gifts. And I've kept them, things that I've gotten. I remember just the art of writing letters and mailing. It's kind of a lost form. So that's kind of neat. That's neat that so this is a way to kind of bring it back. But that gratitude part, and like you said, the civility, manners, kindness, all things that, we want to make sure that we instill in our children.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And and the beauty of it is it's a physical act. That's what I love. And it's a physical item. And like you said, you save thank you letters. Yeah. I have a lot of fun at Valentine's Day and Christmas and talking about writing, Christmas letters or especially Valentine's Day's letter. And I have to tell you a quick story on this. Quick story. So once again, we're talking about Valentine's Day to the kids up at the school. I think they're sixth graders. So it's just at that perfect time. And I thought, how do I get a hold of these guys? And I said, all right. I said, ladies, I wanted to take a vote here. I said, how many of you would rather receive a Valentine's Day text? Because email is like so old fashioned, right?
That's right.
So, right? Or would you rather receive a Valentine's Day letter handwritten from your boyfriend? And I said, let's take a vote on it, girls, and not to be sexist about it, but I did ask the guys too, but it was funny. So I asked the girls, and all their arms went up, right? I was like, wow. And the guys were like, you could tell there was this blink, blink, blink. And I asked the same thing of the guys. They were like, they were sheepish because they were like, well, wait a second. Are we supposed to write? Yes, guys, you're supposed to, you're supposed to get them.
Yep.
So at the end of the class, I said, are there any questions? And this boy raises his hand and says, Mr. Papritz, he says, when are we going to start learning how to write Valentine's Day letters? He was like, I want to get on this.
That's right. The light bulbs kind of went off for him. He knew.
It really went off on him. So I think
that's great.
Go ahead, after you.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, my husband, we've been married for 18 years. And every anniversary, get a handwritten letter from him. That's my gift. And I look forward to it more than I think he realizes. But, he kind of took it from Ronald Reagan, who was known for writing letters and, to heads of state, to his wife, to his family. And so it's just really something, it's just so personal. And then to be able to be showing gratitude right now, it's just a natural thing. There's not a lot of stuff that we maybe can do in our communities, or we're limited, but you're not limited by writing or sending your thanks or doing something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So as parents, what are some ways we can, because we are some of us are also teachers now too at home. So, this might not be a movement that is taking on a lot in the schools, at least from a bigger aspect. But as parents and at home, what are some ways we can kind of get our kids on board or, help support this national thank you?
Well, I think the easiest part is just ask your kids who they want to thank in their community.
Mm.
And sort of, I think that's where, again, we're back to community mindedness, keeping it local.
Yeah.
And they go, well, what do you mean? Who do we thank? It says, well, has someone in our neighborhood, has someone in our town, has someone in our city helped us out? And then you could say, well, what do you mean? And then you initiate the conversation from there. The doctors and nurses at the local clinic or the hospital. Do you see how they help those people? The mail carrier, the grocery clerks. I mean, come on, geez. I mean, literally everyone who has held us up during this time, including parents and grandparents and firefighters. I mean, boy, the list goes a mile long.
Yeah.
The on the website, and of course we'll say it probably a couple times, nationalthankyouletterday.com. We're posting, I believe today, some of the videos that we're just receiving right now.
Oh, good.
And on the Facebook page, to give you an example, one of the little girls, she goes, again, so cute, it just kills you. I want to thank you. I want to thank the firefighters, and I want to thank my dog. And it's like, oh, so perfect, right?
That's
it's
right.
like that's exactly what you think. But I love the idea. It initiates the idea of course, gratitude and the kindness and the manners and civility in a very concrete way that we can talk with our kids, like what's going on now and who you're thankful to.
Right. And by kind of using those prompts and asking them, it becomes more organic, and the thank you is more genuine, instead of saying, you need to sit down and you need to write a thank you letter, if you kind of have that conversation, you're right, it becomes a teachable moment in many, many ways.
I didn't say that,
So,
you did. Teachable moment.
Yeah. That's right.
That was your cue, right?
Yeah.
No, and you're absolutely right.
Yep.
I think that's it too. And it doesn't become this burdensome thing to do.
Right.
I think that's the other thing too. When I talk about writing the Valentine's letters, I have this, guys, gals, it takes 5 minutes. They go, 5 minutes. I go, yeah, you go to your printer, pull out a piece of paper, you write dear on this, and you write the 3 things that your spouse, partner, whoever does for you every day in the smallest level. I would say, thank you for cooking my eggs just right, or reading to the kids, that these small acts that mean so much to us in the everyday life. And it's really those small acts that mean to us the most. And I think that's where we can talk to the kids about that. And it's a real, for want of a better phrase, it's an authentic moment, and it lets them know that people really respond to it.
Right. Well, and I think it's really important for parents to know too, that they need to model it. So, they don't need to just tell the child, who, and do those prompts and kind of get, who are you going to write a thank you letter to? But you know what, I'm going to, use this time to write a thank you letter because, for whatever reason it might be. So I think it's really important for parents to remember that, just to model it, and it'll pay out tenfold.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's the teacher part of you. That's the most important thing is the model to do it. Say, hey, we are going to sit down.
Right.
You know what? I sort of forgot that in this part of it because it's brand new. We're doing it. But I think I would say to all the moms out there and dads who are watching this, guys, really, truly sit down and say, we are going to write a thank you letter. And what's really fascinating is when they ask, well, who are you going to write a thank you letter to?
Right. Yep.
Right? Does it engage that part of the conversation?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, I think that would be really important. And one thing I would want, anybody, reading and watching this to take away from it is, you've got 4 people in your house. Don't make just, the 2 kids do it. You right there, you've doubled your, your kind of your ripple effect of, of your own kindness reaching out into the community. So.
Yeah. So back to that one thing for moms, they go, well, I have a 4-year-old. He or she doesn't write. I says, no, that's fine. You can write for them. They can draw pictures. Every kid, here's the funny thing. When we did that big thank you letter. And you'll see it on the nationalthankyouletterday.com. It's wild. So we did it, and I'm excited. We got all 600 kids at our school. They're coming out to sign it. And I just figured they're going to do block print, or, well, of course, they're very few doing cursive. And they got down on the floor and they're writing pictures and they're doing doodles. And I was like, whoa. Of course, the adult in me like, oh, we just slide it and we go. No, they created this entire artwork. And that's how they saw themselves with their signature. And this is what this little girl did when she did this picture, this fireman. So they love to draw pictures. So it becomes more than just that. It's a whole expression.
Right. You're right. I was going to actually ask that and point that out, that, yeah, not every, 2, 3, 4-year-old, you don't need to make sure that your child can write or, do anything. There are many ways to be able to color a picture or draw something, or, trace a hand, just to be able to show the, the impact, that kind of visual impact. That's awesome.
Yeah. And if they want to be, and there's no doing it wrong. There's this, you can do it any way you want. And they can just, you can prompt them all you want in the video. Hey, say thank you. Oh, I thank you. That type of thing. Nothing's wrong. It's just the very act of giving that to the world. But what's beautiful is looking at that. I mean, they actually have a thank you letter. And think about if we were to send that to our hospitals, our doctors, our nurses, what about our mail people? I mean, how wonderful to send it to the local post office and uplift them, or the grocery store clerk. And wouldn't it be, here's another part I hadn't thought about. You take your phones and you show, here, my daughter wants to say thank you. Or here's to the garbage guy, or whatever it is, and here, I want to thank you. It's like, wow, you are going to powerfully move people by that act.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. That's true.
I'm sorry, or literally take the letter and show them, right? If it's possible with the
right. Or like even at home, like if you had one for the mailman, the delivery man, the UPA, everybody's shopping online, and just put it on the front door and just.
I love that.
A little gratitude. Yeah.
And look at that. I mean, just within this short interview, there's all you've come up with a multitude of new ideas.
Yeah. I don't know where you are in Arizona. It might not be as popular, but here in the Bay Area, you've got your Doordash, your Uber Eats, your Grubhub, all of those people whose people aren't eating in the restaurants, they're getting food delivered. And, so just to be able to have that, it seems kind of a thankless job, but.
What a great idea. I like that too. I mean, all the variations of it. So I think Yeah.
So I mean, just having the conversation like we are. I mean, could you imagine me have that conversation with your children? And I'm sure it would be even, I don't want to say crazier, but it would be even the projects and the creativity that would come in it with it would just really surprise you as a parent.
Yeah. And so folks, please show us what you got out there.
I love
really
it.
Excited. I'm really excited. I really didn't answer your first question, coming all the way around. Why are we starting it now? Well, this is really a rolling start. We want to, when we hit that day, when we go into even Thanksgiving, even though it's a few days past, I think we can create a nice national momentum, because I think if people start seeing this and they're moved by it, I think we need that sincerity, and that we need lots of gratitude out there,
We do, especially after Election Day and, like you said, Veterans Day, and just everything. There's so much to be thankful for.
Yeah, and it's not going to just be on one particular day.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And now I noticed on the website, nationalthankyouletterday.com, that there are some other creative ideas that some other people in other countries have done. Like what were some of those?
So I was just referring to the things that we've done in the past to help community.
Oh, great.
So one of the other things, one of the other series of things I like to do again on Carew Tube is the first ever book signings. So again, getting kids excited about, I did the first ever book signing on top of a volcano, which was Mount St. Helens, and actually had a book signing up there. Literally people were up there, we signed books and we had a part. First ever book signing on a glacier we did in Alaska. First ever book signing on we had a whistle stop tour the entire East Coast, and
Oh,
we signed books on the trip. And one of them was Cuba when it first opened up. So we did the first ever book signing by an author post Castro.
oh,
And we
wow.
brought books to the kids down there, not just my books, but we had kids from 3 states collect books and they signed them so we could give them to kids in a school in Havana. And it was
Oh, wow.
really powerful. So we've done things like that. We've done things of collecting books for kids during Hurricane Harvey so the kids could have
Okay.
that. And so it's just, there's some other, I think we did something with Notre Dame and helping with the fires and
Oh,
just
at the
showing
cathedral.
kids all the different ways to
Yeah.
engage in community service.
Yeah. Well, and then that takes that kindness, gratitude, civility. Just, I mean, it knows no language. I mean, it's cold.
Well put.
It's, yeah.
Well put. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that. Yeah. Can I borrow that?
Yes.
Thank you. And by the way, I have to say this. Usually I say at the beginning, I lived in San Francisco, but it was about 3 or 4 lifetimes ago, which few more than that maybe. And I was trying to remember where it was off the panhandle, off of like California. It was in the city.
Okay.
In another time when it was affordable to live there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. It's becoming a little bit more affordable now because everybody is reevaluating their priorities in their life and what's important to them and making some decisions for their families,
Yeah.
Kind of based on this idea of kindness and civility in particular, and, really making some meaningful changes. So,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Really, really, truly, I think that's
yeah,
the union of this sort of day and idea combined with where we're at in our lives. And it's a real, I mean, that was one of the interesting things in when the book came out, the legacy letters, and I was on various book tours. And I've written several books in the past, and yeah, would do these things, and it's always nice being an author. You get the attaboy, oh, that's nice, and you get the nice words. But what was phenomenal was that people were finding powerful meaning within words that, as an author, you almost become a messenger at that point.
Hmm.
And they were informing me how to read my own words, which was amazing. They were moved by something, and actually I would do. This is a funny thing, Tracy, and this is a little bit off skew of what we're talking
Yep.
about.
Yeah.
But I started one day. I did this thing because I was at this one book signing, was sort of going slow, and there's this mother and son. The son was a teenager, and they're wandering back and forth. And I says, "Oh, come on over. I'm not scary. I just talk to me, because they're always, oh, I don't know if to go over that."
Yeah.
So I had him come over, and this idea once again popped into my head, and they said, "Well, what's your book about?" And I told them, and he says, "Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's the death knell.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, right." And I says, "I'm going to do something I've never done before in my entire life. It's probably never been done. I'm going to guarantee this book." And she goes, "Guarantee?" I says, "Yeah, I guarantee if you pick up this book, you will turn to the next page, or I'll give you your money back. And look, you haven't even bought the book, so you're already ahead." So she was like, "Wow, this guy's crazy." So I said, "Yeah." So she picks up the book, and I said, "You too." And the kid looked at me, and he's on his cell phone, so he's like, "All right, I'll do what this guy says." So she picks up and one page, two pages. She reads, and she puts it down. She says, "I'll take two." I was like, "Really?" I was stunned. And she went over to the cashier to take the books over. I signed them. And I turned, and the boy was still reading.
Oh,
And it got more amazing. And I said, "Excuse me, I don't want to stop your reading, but you've really floored me." And I said, why I didn't think you'd even turn to the next page. Why?" And he puts down the book, and he looks me straight in the eye. He says, "I don't have a dad. I wish the guy in this book was my father." And
oh,
that's that was it.
wow. Oh
That
my
was it.
gosh.
That was, and I will tell you, I have done that a number of times, And that moment has occurred over and over and over again, to the point I'm just like almost afraid to see what I open up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
And yeah, the power of words,
The power of
yeah.
words,
Yeah.
and the power of, and I think maybe tying it back to this thank you letter, that isn't giving a thanks, you give it out to
Right.
somebody. And
Hmm.
it's somewhat like the golden rule, you hope that what you give, you get back. But at the
Hmm.
same time, it's you give it out without that supposedly not happening, right?
Right. Right.
And yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think too, in this time, it's just another way to connect with
that's it.
another human being.
Yeah.
If it can't be through a hug, it can be through words, and it can
Yeah.
be
Oh, I love that.
a
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Powerful, but simple and beautiful. And
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
just wanted to
gosh.
show this. This is, of course, the thing you get to do on all the Zoom calls, right?
Yeah, right.
You
Yep.
get to point out,
Yeah, your stuff. Yep.
and
So
yeah,
it's
there it
the
is right there.
legacy letters.
Yeah, so that's the inspiration for the national. It's the literally the first couple of pages in, and it's one of the first letters the father writes to his children. And then, but he realizes in the book that he's going to be writing to their entire lives. So he ends up talking about not, he talks about work, and he talks about love, and he talks about death, and he talks about, so he writes to the entirety of their lives. So
Okay.
it's not this simple, oh, this is how you do that. No, yeah, he talks about changing a tire. He talks about writing love letters. It's the whole
Right.
gang. And it's sort of a cross between Tuesdays with Maury and Chicken Soup with a Soul. So it's
Uh,
got that in it.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah.
And then we will be sure, and we'll let our watchers and our followers know too. We'll make sure we put in the post that we do with this video, the websites and all the other things, and the YouTube and the hashtags to be able to use to be able to share what they're creating, so you can
Yeah.
see it.
What did we say the hashtag was? I think it's the thanks 2020 heroes.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's it. But like you
Okay.
said, you can put it in there, but I'm pretty
Yep.
sure that's what we came up with. And
Yep. We'll put
all
it in
that.
there and be sure to confirm it. And
Yeah. Wow. What a treat. Thank you for so much. And I appreciate
yeah.
any of you people, any of you moms and dads and
Mhm.
parents and teachers spreading the good word. Cause I'll tell you what, this would be phenomenal if we could catch lightning in a bottle and watch
Yeah. Oh my
it
gosh,
go.
wouldn't it? And yeah, and parents, don't be afraid to go to your child's teacher, even those high school teachers, and and be able to say, "Have you heard about this? What do you
Really?
think
High
about?"
school? Can we actually get those?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
that be,
think so. I think so.
wouldn't I? Oh, please, please.
Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't that be something? It'd be a great, just a good exercise in letter writing. I mean, if you're going to get technical with, the art of letter writing, but just
I mean, if they get credit for it, we can actually get them
all
maybe.
right. That's right. They might be, yeah, and not extra credit, real credit. But I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think sometimes high school kids, like the young man you mentioned at the book signing, I think they just need permission to show their emotions, and
Yeah.
it's permission to be able to be human and not just a teenager. And I
Yeah.
can say that because I have two.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're both that same.
Yeah.
I also think too that we as parents, especially during the teenagers, we say that, oh, we don't have to be involved. But guys, you can model and you can say, hey, take a look at this idea. And this is what I love to do. What do you think about this? Well, I'll tell you what, this is really going to move somebody. This is really going
Hmm.
to be powerful. Let's give it a shot. Like I always do, like it's a group
Yes, the
effort, right?
collective we.
The
Yeah.
collective, right? And, all right,
Yeah.
all right. And
Yep.
it's no skin off your teeth to move somebody, to make them feel good,
That's right.
except for us trying to move them to get them to do something.
That's right. It might take a little push. Yeah.
Right, exactly. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
No.
So don't give up on them. I think absolutely push forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So great.